Welcome to Exposition. This week we have Shereena Wetherholt, and she's going to talk about a very interesting way she does jewelry and artwork. So stay tuned. Well, thanks for staying tuned, and this is Exposition. So, what do we have this week?
Well, today, our guest, you mean, or what's happening around the world?
I don't know if you want to go to the world, but...
Well, always classes and gallery shows and new artisans and
You think a lot of people have found you at your new location?
I've heard that some people are still having trouble finding us or think we fell off the face of the earth, but we are still in existence at 749 3rd Avenue, and that's near Pine Street in Gallipolis. And come and see us and how we're growing and changing, evolving, and cool things are happening, and we just never know what's next. It's exciting.
Yeah. So if you haven't found the artisan shop, come in to Gallipolis on 160 on Pine Street, make a right on 3rd, and look to your left, it's right there.
Yes.
White building. So who do we have today?
We have Shereena Wetherholt, who actually possesses my maiden name, Wetherholt. So
no connection?
Well,
we're not sure.
Distantly, I'm sure. I mean, Wetherholt, you got to be related somehow, right, in this area.
Right,
especially.
it's an uncommon name, so.
Yes. I'm so excited. When I first met you, it was at the Gallipolis Public Library, the Bossard
Public Library. Years and years ago.
Wait a minute. No, it wasn't. It was the Our House.
Yes, that's it.
It was the Our House, and it was the Founders Day, and we were set up upstairs
side
at the museum, side by side, and I was so excited that she was a Wetherholt. So anyway, she is so cool, and she had paintings. You had paintings. I'm talking like you're not even here. You had paintings that were amazing and beautiful, and you have just blossomed and grown and done so many other things that I never knew you could do. So we're going to have to find out what all.
Well, we didn't get any of your paintings. Do you still do that?
I still paint. I started drawing and painting when I was really young, and as the years passed and as I became an adult, I was so busy with work all the time. It was kind of hard for me to keep up doing that. So when I got into like jewelry making, it made it much easier for me to express myself while I'm working at the same time. So
that is so
Is it easier, or why do you say that?
Well, the process of electroforming, it takes hours to plate something. So I'll do it at night or during the day while I'm at work. So then when I get home, I'll have a finished product. So, yeah.
Oh, you mean you started at home, and then while you're away at work, it's doing it by itself?
Yes. Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Okay. So what do you call this?
This is electroforming.
Okay. So where did you get the idea, or seen it somewhere? Or what?
Well, most people are familiar with electroplating. So you have earrings or a ring, and that's usually gold plated, but underneath it has copper or nickel underneath. But electroforming is a little bit different because you can coat something in metal that's not originally metal.
Okay.
So a good example, this is my favorite one that I love to show people. This one right here, this is actually a bee that I just found, and I coated this little guy in copper.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
Sort of like they do baby shoes and stuff.
that's the best way to explain it to people who aren't familiar with it, is the baby shoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real bee in there.
Yes. Yep, that's a real little
I
bee
think
in there.
there's a theme going on in our lives. Leave it at that.
Well, we had another artist that loved bugs.
Yes, Addie Coldren,
Right.
who painted bugs, and she cast
Right,
bugs,
she had little
did like the
jewelry out of bugs or something.
wax, like
Yeah.
did the wax
The
thing,
wax
and
casting
then
and your metalwork.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
And that's kind of what I wanted to start doing, is I wanted to do metalwork of some sort. But that involves fire and all that different stuff, and it wasn't, you know, I was kind of scared to do something with like flames and things like that. So this was the perfect fit. Once I really started to do research and learn about it, it just
Where
took
did you
off
see
from
it the
there.
first time?
Probably the most common was YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone learns their stuff from YouTube at 1st They do research on it. So
Is it a machine?
it actually starts, it's a solution of copper sulfate and sulfuric acid, and you hook it up to a rectifier, which is like, it makes an electrical current. So you put the copper, the pure copper, into the solution, and then you hook it up. So this, you take whatever you want to plate and you hook it up, and then it just, it starts to plate it over time.
So
Oh my goodness.
it's a DC current? Okay. The rectifiers take
Yeah.
AC and convert to DC.
Right, and that's it.
And then you put one side of it, the positive, or was it the negative you put on the piece itself?
Right, the negative will go on the piece itself.
And then the water or the chemical was
Right.
charged with the other side.
Right. And then it's also important to note that you have to have, the piece has to be conductive, so in order to do that, you have to coat it in graphite or something like that.
Oh.
Yep. So that's what I do.
So how do you cover, because what you do, one of your things is 3D printing.
Yes. Yep.
So that's usually plastic, right?
Right.
So how do you get
Yep.
the graphite on it?
It's really simple. The only thing I use is I start out with the 3D print, and then from there, I'll take a mixture of acetone and graphite powder. I'll mix it together, and then I'll just take a paintbrush and I'll paint all over it.
Oh, okay.
I'll wipe it off a little bit, and then it's conductive. Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And the acetone doesn't break down the plastic at all?
It doesn't, no.
This
This is,
the goo.
Right, this is PLA plastic, which is different than, I think it's called ABS plastic. It would break that down probably, but this, it doesn't. Plus this plastic's a little bit better for the environment too. So I've heard. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But
Oh, yeah, okay. I was just, because she was like talking about it, and I didn't know if people had seen it.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
So, do you download the models that you are
some of them
3D printing, or
some
come
of
up
them
with
I
on your own?
purchase, some of them I make.
Do
Another
you scan them or what?
that I haven't gotten into yet.
Okay.
I would love to do that. That would be amazing, to take somebody's face and like photograph it on all sides and then be able to 3D print it and plate it. That would be amazing. I
Yeah.
would love to do something like that. But some of the other things that I do, like this ring right here, this is actually hand sculpted. And so what I do is I have this is my favorite tool of all the tools that I have. It's a 3D pin that has the plastic filament that goes through it. It mounts it, and then from there, all of those little lines and details are made with this.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I didn't even know that existed.
I love this
Is
thing.
it like a glue gun pen?
It is. and
Except it's not glue, it's plastic.
Yep.
It's plastic.
Yep.
It's not glue,
Mm-hmm.
Mike.
So like the skull you have there, was
Yep.
that something you downloaded and then resized and
Yep.
printed?
Yep. And then that was 3D printed, and then the top of it was made with the little 3D pin.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
And then you cover that with the carbon,
Yep.
and then you let it sit in the solution that's charged and electroplated.
Right.
Now you plate it with copper first,
Yes.
and
will-
then you're done, or?
Yep. And then I'm
I
done.
wasn't sure if there's something else you put on top of it.
Usually, I probably could do like silver or gold, but that's incredibly
Or nickel.
expensive. Yes, I could do that, but it's expensive. So I love copper. It's inexpensive and it works really well with, you know, the jewelry that I make.
And it's a different
It's surprising
look,
you
you
would
know.
say
Yeah.
that copper is inexpensive because
Yeah,
everybody steals copper.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
And pipes and all that
Yep.
stuff
Yeah.
go into houses.
Plumbing and
Yeah.
And if you ever tried to buy copper piping, that is expensive.
I get it.
But I guess if you tried to buy like silver and nickel pipes, that would be different.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
That would be a lot more expensive.
yes.
Yeah.
Can't afford them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you get the materials to do all this?
Well, the copper I just get from the hardware store. I don't need a whole
Oh.
lot at a time, so I can just buy the little copper pipe bindings and stuff and use that.
Oh my goodness.
I get almost all my stuff from Amazon.
Okay.
Yep.
So you would buy a copper pipe?
And then you melt it?
Well, the little, you know, just like the little copper tubes, just the little pipes that you can get. I'm not a plumber, so I'm not good with the terminology, but
Yeah.
they're really small, and they get broke down easily in the solution. So
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The solution brings
So
it
like
down. You
the
don't have
smaller,
to
thinner.
file it down. or
right,
anything.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Man, that is so cool. I can't
Thank
believe it. Oh my goodness.
So what all do you? What's the big pendant?
This one, this is just an electroformed. So the top of it, right here, is a little wolf. I don't know if you can see that pretty good or not. But the 3D pen is what all these little elements was. And then there's the 3D printed wolf. And there's just a suede cord that it's attached to with a crystal on the bottom.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What kind of crystal is that?
Labradorite, I think
Okay.
is how you say it. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And then there's also, let me just set that down there. I hope this is like my favorite one that I've ever done. It's a moonstone, so it almost has like an iridescent shine to it. You can kind of see it in the light, but I absolutely love that. That's my favorite.
Now, if you wear copper, does that rub off?
It doesn't rub off, but it oxidizes with your skin. So a lot of times, all people's skin chemistry, it's different. For me, it doesn't turn my skin green, but for my, you know, maybe my mom or sister, it would. If that does happen, that's just a natural thing that happens with when it's in contact with our skin. But the best way to prevent that is just to take a little bit of clear nail polish and then put it on the inside, and then you won't never have to worry about that.
Okay.
And it'll last
That's
forever.
simple.
Yeah.
So I think we had some photos of some other pieces you've had or done. There we go.
Okay. So this one, I actually first off thought I was going to make this for me because I love amethyst. That's one of my favorite stones to work with. The raven skull, that's 3D printed, and then the 2 rings on the side, the bands itself, those are 3D printed and then plated in copper. And then of course I used the 3D pen to kind of sculpt all the little elements on there.
So what's okay? Did you take on the top of the skull there a little bit of 3D pen?
Yeah.
To I guess to get that. The stone can be in that solution. Was it plated with that in it?
Now certain ones, depending on the hardness of them, if you leave them in for too long, it's sulfuric acid, so it will eat away. Any kind of like the labradorite, this is a good example of one that you have to seal with like a liquid latex to protect it from the solution so it won't eat away at it. But other than that, amethyst is a really hardy stone, so you could leave it in. I think I left that pendant in for about 20 hours and it held up really well. So, okay, this one is the ring that I tried to show.
That's the moonstone?
Yes. And if you hold it and you just look at it, it has all of these different colors in it. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And this one was probably one of the first necklaces that I had ever made with the 3D printer.
Wow.
I actually was able to kind of like draw out the Ohio with the heart, and then from there I converted it to a 3D print file, and then it just printed, and then I coated it, and then there's a little bit of a patina on there too to get it really dark.
Oh my goodness.
So you put something on it to antique it, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, you have a little patina on it. That's what they call it. You can also use a mixture of different, like vinegar and things like that, to give it like a greenish, bluish tint to it.
Mm-hmm.
You think of the Statue of Liberty, it was made of copper, and over time it got tarnished, and it kind of has that green.
Yeah, they ought to polish that thing.
Yeah, I would love to see what it looks like.
I know.
Polished.
That'd be amazing.
It'll take forever.
This one was one of the first pieces that I actually sold, and I wish I wouldn't have, because I love it so much. It's this.
Well, you 3D print it, you could make another one,
That
right?
is true. I could. But this one, I absolutely love it. I love skulls and things like that too. So, but I was so happy when I sold
And
it.
it's got a stone at the bottom of it?
Yes, it has a clear quartz
Okay.
at the end. This one, it's yes, so it has the clear quartz on the bottom, and then that whole entire the wheel, and it's supposed to be like kind of a mermaid coming out of the wheel.
Yes, it is.
And
Like the things that's on the front of ships.
yes, that's kind of
Yes.
where I took my inspiration from on that one, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Gorgeous. That's in the artisan shop.
Yes, so many of my favorite pieces are in there.
We
Okay.
love it.
Here was, it's a custom work. You kind of notice some of these pieces, they have like an overall theme. I called this one my totem series, where it focuses on like a large crystal on the bottom, and then an animal on the top. This one was made special for a customer. They wanted an obsidian stone on the bottom, and then garnets. There's a little baby garnet up there in the moon shape.
Oh my.
And then they wanted it with like a really dark, almost gunmetal patina. So, and I was
So
just...
is that copper? Or?
Yep, it's
Okay.
copper. Yeah,
I
I
thought maybe
polished...
it was something else.
Well, what it is, I polished the copper really good with a Dremel, and then after, I took hot tap water, mixed in a little of the patina, which it smells awful. It smells like rotten eggs.
Oh, lovely.
And then I dip it in really quick, leave it in for about 14 seconds, I take it out, and then I polish it again.
Oh my goodness.
It looks nice.
Thank you. This one, these were actually for, there's a metaphysical shop in Pomeroy. I made these special for her store because it's kind of like a nautical theme. I had gemstones in those seahorses, and in the middle one, the top middle one, you can tell that there was a gemstone there, and the copper got excited and decided it was going to take it. So
Really?
it's completely covered up.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. If I would have, this was one of the earlier pieces that I did, so if I would have covered that in like liquid latex, that wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
But
There's a hidden gem.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I would just be afraid I would damage it. I could try chipping away at it, but I just left it
That's
be.
a great idea to leave it.
So what shop is that at?
It's in Pomeroy. It's the Divine Notions metaphysical shop.
Where is that?
It's right on by the river. It's just on that
Yeah,
that
everything's
street.
by the river.
It is.
Easy to find on the main
right.
river street.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, it's a great little shop. You should check it out.
Yes, we will.
This one is a little bit unique. Those are actually denture teeth in there. Yeah. I got some.
I guess the person doesn't need them anymore.
Right.
hope not.
I actually found someone online that was selling a bunch of dentures and teeth.
Whoa.
So I thought, why not? Let me just buy those from you, and I'm gonna make some jewelry out of them.
Okay.
So, and I have, to be fair, I have sold the teeth jewelry. So
That is so cool.
yeah.
It's a little weird, but it's kind of cool.
Here's another
Would have
one.
never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of out there, so.
Oh, we all are, so we get it.
Thank
well,
you.
I get it, Mike.
Thank you. No, this, I believe I made these during the time of the Mothman Festival when we were talking, it was the Mothman reception and we were talking about Mothman. So I was like, I'm gonna make a moth necklace. So that's one of the pieces that I came up with. And I actually believe that
So is that
one,
3D printed or do you do it with a pen?
that one's the 3D printed.
Okay.
So that 3D print file, I made that and then converted it over, and then I just let it do its thing and let it
And
print.
now it's hanging in a local restaurant.
Yes.
So did you have to make the rings on the side yourself?
Nope. I just went ahead
you
and
added
I added
those?
that to the design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, this one is probably one of my favorites. I always say that about all my pieces. Oh, this is my favorite
Well, they all
one.
have personalities.
Yeah, and I like to
They're
tell people I put so much love and energy into my work, and I want when
can
someone
see.
wears that, I want them to feel that. That's why if I'm in a bad mood or anything, I won't work on anything because I just don't want it to like.
It might be interesting to do something
Maybe.
during that time.
That is true.
To see what turns out.
This, I believe that's a jade little gemstone in there. And yeah, oh, I love
Oh,
that.
that was a coffee bean.
Yes, I love the coffee bean ones. Yep, that is,
What was your inspiration for that?
I just had some coffee beans and I thought, well, how cool would it be to have a ring with coffee?
Okay.
It's for the coffee enthusiasts.
So is that
of the
a
world.
bean covered?
Yep, it's an actual bean. I had
Okay.
some that I didn't grind up yet, and I just took them and I coated them in the conductive paint, and then I just glued a little ring band to it, and then I was good to go. And I plated it.
How fun is that? I think the local coffee shops need
Yes.
this. Yes, they do.
I'm gonna have to stop in and check it out.
Yes.
So you have a website, and this is a screenshot of the website at, is it vilevortex.com?
VileVortexStudio.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
There it is.
So that's what you'll find if you click on the link that is at the bottom there. Well, the link on the bottom is not active, but if you type that in your browser, that's where you'll come. And you can purchase things from there.
Yep,
Can you request your own custom things?
Absolutely. That's what I specialize in, is the
Okay.
custom work.
So what are the limitations?
If I can't find a gemstone, I would probably suggest something else. But other than that, this one, the wolf pendant, this was actually a custom order that I did for somebody special. And they wanted a wolf, and they wasn't sure what kind of gemstone they wanted, so I kind of made a suggestion based on their personality and all that stuff and what colors they wear. So, I mean, pretty much, you know, the sky's the
You
limit.
can do anything. I am so excited.
Thank you.
Like, my head's been spinning ever since.
It's vertigo.
It's vertigo.
It's vertigo.
Literally, but little vertigo. But with ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so inspirational.
That's the
to
thing.
see your work.
Thank you.
And what if people want to see your paintings? Like
Well, I know. When I get time, I'll paint.
okay.
Well,
Can
do you have a
them
certain
on your-
theme that you paint? Is there some, favorite subjects or whatever?
I really like to paint I love to paint pets and stuff, as you love to paint pets. They have so much character. The last painting I think I did one maybe a couple years ago of my 2 dogs. So, I mean, I love to paint dogs and cats.
Do you have those on your website? Like,
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm specializing in this right now just
course.
because I'm obsessed with it.
That's
so
very cool.
So do you think you spend more time doing that than you would making a painting?
I think the prep work in it, I think would be about the same. Because there's a lot of steps of waiting, letting something dry, then waiting again. And then of course the plating takes hours. So that's usually either when I'm at work or when I'm asleep. So when I wake up or come home from work, it'll be done.
Now you have to watch what you're doing with the chemicals and have some sort of exhaust fan.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
really
you wouldn't want to go to sleep and then like not wake up.
right. That wouldn't be
Because some of
good.
those things are pretty
Yeah.
caustic.
Oh my goodness.
I use a respirator, and I keep my studio door closed and all that stuff. So, I mean, they're skin irritants more or less, but it's just important to always have proper ventilation on this stuff because I am working with toxic chemicals. That's why it's so hard for me to do like a demonstration or a class or something because, you know, it's
You don't want
toxic.
somebody tipping that
Right.
over and getting
Yeah.
burned.
Yeah, because I've had that happen, and it is quite painful to have the
gosh.
skin on you. It's
You just have to
It's
like
itchy.
wash it off with water.
with baking soda and water. It kind of burns a little, but
Yeah.
you know,
acidic, and you want to take a
exactly.
more base thing
Yes.
to neutralize it.
Yeah, and that's what I do for all my pieces. I will soak them in baking soda and water just to neutralize any kind of, you know, acid that's still on them.
okay.
After
Right.
the process is done, that's
Right.
the last thing you do.
Exactly.
That doesn't change the color at all.
It tarnishes it a little bit, but with a silver wire brush or something on a Dremel, it shines it right up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you go to other fairs and places where people might see you? Because I know I seen you at the shop during Christmas,
Yes.
but there wasn't a lot of traffic.
That's okay. It was the winter fair.
Mm-hmm.
The first event that I ever went to was the barbecue festival. I think is what it was. That was the
Okay.
first ever event that I did with my jewelry. It was a nervous wreck, putting up my tent and all that stuff. But over time, I've just learned new tricks and how to be more efficient. You know, any kind of event that the artisan shop does, I'm always going to be there. So,
Yay! We're so happy.
thank you.
So do you have anything scheduled for this upcoming year?
There's a couple events that I am applying for. That's kind of my goal right now, is to go to the juried shows where you have to put in an application with your pictures of your work and all that stuff, because that's where a lot of the traffic is those art and craft shows. But hopefully here in the next few months I'll have some announcements, and any kind of shows or things like that, I always put them on my website and keep everybody posted too.
Perfect. Oh, that's exciting.
Okay. So look her up on the web at vilevortexstudio.com and check out some of the interesting things, and maybe look her up at a show here and there.
Yes.
So we are out of time, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time on Exposition.